Coming in, you guys. I got another walk and talk for you here today. Today, we are going to talk about what to do when you want to just give up. We all reach that point at some point in our lives where things are overwhelming. We don't want to really go on, and so we just want to quit. We want to give up. And we're going to talk about that here today on the walk and talk. But for now, we're going to say hello. What's up, my guys? How are y'all? Guys and gals. I use guys generically, but you know, I love you gals too. So, M Horn, MM is here. Trish, MM says hi, hello. Casey and Sharon, C Millsy, Saf, Linder Lou, Deb, Deep Tim, Linda. Sharon says good morning, good morning. Coming in, guys, if you're just joining, we're about to start my walk and talk. I do this once a week, generally on Sundays at 11 a.m. Eastern. It might change as the weather gets warmer. It's pretty warm today. It's already in the 60s here in South Carolina. Big, beautiful blue sky, big sunshine in the air, as you guys can see. Amar is here. Arlene is here. Virtual honeymoon. Mama Lent says good morning from cold Western PA. Yes, I realize it is very cold in various parts of America and the Northern Hemisphere. Bulletproof's here. Sugar Mountain Thrifter. Virtual says happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you. Adnan is here. Amar says hi. Bulletproof says go. Jimmy, go, 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 go. Fire ice, fire ice. Sonia's here. Yeah, so guys, stick around because today I have a topic that I'm going to get into. I'm going to wait till it's closer to 11 a.m. before I officially start. But I want to get into this because I think a lot of people are on the verge of giving up on things. And I want to talk about, like, when you want to give up, what should you do? Because giving up's not the only option. And we're going to talk about a lot of those other options here today. But thanks for hanging out. I've had a great weekend so far. I got to go see my tax guy on Friday, which isn't always a fun experience, but it actually went very well. I got all my paperwork together. I had my shit together this year, and went and saw him, and I think it lasted 2 hours. Now, mind you, I have a kind of a complicated situation with my taxes, and so usually I'm in there at least 3-4 hours, sometimes 6-7 hours. It sometimes gets a little tricky. But he's like, wow, you did a really great job putting all that together. And so we got it. And I came out pretty unscathed. So that was fun. So that was Friday. Then yesterday I went to the farmer's market, saw Arlene and all the different people that I go to see there, and purchased all kinds of nice food and home care products. And then last night I got invited to go to a Carnivore Meetup. So there's this couple that came to my birthday party, my 50th birthday party a couple months back. And it turns out they live 1 mile from my house. And so I've been supplying them eggs, and they said, hey, we're going to have a meetup with some carnivore people. Okay, great. It's at 7 o'clock. I'm like, ugh, because you guys know I go to bed early. So I said, I'll come at 7. I just don't know how long I'll stay. So I ended up staying till 8:30. I thought that was pretty good, but nice spread of food. I put it on my stories if you want to go see what the food looked like. It was brisket and lamb and kielbasa. It was really nice. So that's what I did last night. And then this morning, I've been talking to my friend Brittany. So yeah, it's been a great weekend. Really, really great weekend. But let's get started on today's topic, because I do think this is such an important thing, because so many people worry about things and they just want to give up on things. I would argue give up on them prematurely. So we're just getting started. Cherish, I see you just got here. I'm just starting the content. I did wait till right at 11 before I started getting into this, but I've just been saying hi and hello to everybody. Now we're going to get into the content. Cherish is here. The party can start. So we want to give up on things, I think, way too quickly. And I want to dig into why. I want to dig into these decisions that we make. Because what motivates you to make decisions is a lot of things. You've got a lot of things that go into why you make the choices you make and why you do the things that you do. And the goals that you have and the way you apply yourself, all of those things come into play. Well, there's two kinds of motivation, okay? One kind of motivation is what's called intrinsic motivation, meaning that it's internal, it's something that drives you. I often describe it to people of what gets you up in the morning. What is it that drives you, gets you to go and do the things that you do? And I personally have lots of internal motivation to do the things that I do. I have a sense of accomplishment with my work. I have knowledge I can share. I also have a love and heart for people. Those are my motivations. I also know that I'm not here by accident, that I could easily be dead. I could easily be incapacitated to do all the things that I do. All of that is my intrinsic motivation. But then there's also this thing called extrinsic motivation, which is kind of an external, outward thing. So, well, in my case, well, if you do all these things, you could become famous online. If you do all these things, you could make money. If you do all these things, you name the list. You can go down the list of all the external things that would motivate you. Now ask yourself something. Which of those two do you think when times get tough is going to make you not want to quit? It's not a hard question. And I think it's pretty easy. When push comes to shove and you're at that brink of wanting to quit, it's those intrinsic things that are going to drive you. You might even describe the intrinsic things as core values. What are those things that make up who you are, no matter what? Good times, bad times, these are your tried and true parts of you. And you can quote me on that. Your tried and true parts of you are going to always keep you going when you want to give up. And I want you to lean into that when you have those feelings. So those of you that came in late, we are on the walk and talk. Hello. Thanks for being here. And we're talking about a very important topic that has application really across the board in your life. What to do when you want to just give up. And we've all been there. We've all reached that breaking point. And I was just talking about intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. And the lasting motivation that will always be there is the intrinsic. So let's get into a little bit of the specifics. I love practicality on these walk and talks. I don't like to speak too much in theory. I feel like practicality is what's missing in a lot of conversations, that people, they don't really understand the why of what they're doing. So, okay, you tell me have intrinsic motivation, Jimmy, but why? What are the benefits? What am I going to get out of that? Well, let's camp out there for a second. So, you have to know there are studies that have taken a look at this issue, actually. And they say that general motivation from intrinsic sources is a great predictor of how well somebody's going to do in their life, in their job, in their relationships, all of that. And it's always going to be those things from within that drive you. So here's what I want you to do. Evaluate right now, even while you're listening to me talk about this. Evaluate, what is it that drives you? What is it that wakes you up in the morning? What is it that helps you put one foot in front of the other when some days you don't feel like it? And if you don't have anything that immediately pops to mind, today's walk and talk is exactly for you. I'm glad you're here, because I feel like we need to be conscious of the things that are within us to keep us going. You can't give up on yourself when you have things in you that are driving you. Think about that intrinsic motivation as being an extra gas tank. That when, and with the price of gas right now, this is a great analogy. When the gas is on empty, I'm almost on empty in my car. I just noticed it a while ago. When the gas is on empty, wouldn't you love it if you could push a button and suddenly you have a full tank again? Right? Well, that's what intrinsic motivation does. It's that full tank waiting for you to say, okay, you need me? I got you. Click. And you tap on it. And it kicks in. And you've got fuel to do all the things you need to do. And it's pretty amazing. And it's always going to be better than the extrinsic motivation. Extrinsic's where you fill up the gas at the gas pump. And when that gas is gone, it's out. And when it's out, you can't go anymore until you figure out either more extrinsic sources of fuel or tap into the intrinsic. So I found that interesting that the research is showing you're always going to have better job performance, always going to have better outlook on life when things come intrinsically. And I mean, it makes sense too, right? If you stop and think about it. One reason is when we're internally driven to do something, we do it because we enjoy it, because it's so much a part of who we are. Like, look, I get on camera a lot. I do walk and talks. I do my ice bath videos here in 2022. I do podcasting 4 days a week. You guys see this ugly mug every day. I'm just kidding. I know I'm handsome. Thank you. Every single day. And it is what drives me is I love every minute of this, because I know when I do things on camera, it's going to serve a good purpose. It's going to help people. It's going to add value in their life, which is why I do it. Not just because I do love it. I do love it. Not just because I do know how to talk pretty good. I do that. I do that. Maybe I PP that. Anyway, I do that, and then you guys watch, and you guys learn, and you guys hopefully laugh a little bit. That drives me. And we all have that enjoyment that we get out of the things that make us who we are intrinsically. Again, core values. So you keep going. When you're in that state of mind, you keep going. There's nothing that stops you. There's nothing that will get in your way. Why? Because you're inspired. You're happy. You're driven. You're satisfied. And you love every minute of life. And I'm going to behoove those of you that can't come up with things intrinsic about yourself, core values, come up with it. Something defines who you are. Dig deep within yourself. What is it that defines you? Not what is it that you do, not what is it that you want to be, although that does come into play a little bit, but what is it that you are? I would even encourage you, write down, if you've got words that describe you, I want to see how you describe yourself. I think I'm compassionate, empathetic, funny, kind, intelligent. I mean, I could come up with words for myself, and those are all things that then drive me to use those for good. And then when you come up with your words, figure out, all right, how are you using those? How do they manifest? How do they come out in the open to make you a better human and the people around you better? This will be a fun exercise, so please write your comments below. I want to hear what you have to say about that. Another reason the intrinsic is so important, guys, having that intrinsic motivation from deep within, is it's intertwined with things like, what is my purpose in this world? I think we all have a purpose, a destiny. what we were meant to be, all of us have a reason we're here. I don't think we're here just to exist. We're here to motivate each other, thrive with one another, be that catalyst for becoming greater and doing something bigger than you ever thought possible. Look, I pour into people all the time, trying to help them get their brand off the ground, help them with a podcast, with book writing. I'm all the time being an encourager to those kinds of people because I'm trying to help them see that they have intrinsically within them a higher purpose than they even knew. And doing something for the sake of something bigger than your own self. Yes, you get benefits, but the benefit you're providing society and other people, there's fulfillment factor there. When you're there, how can you ever want to give up? Back to the topic du jour today. What to do when you want to just give up? The reason you want to give up is you've lost your purpose. You've lost your sense of why you're doing the things you're doing. And so tapping into that and reminding yourself, what is it that drives you? What is it that your core values of who you are is going to help you with that. Is this resonating, guys? I hope it is. So there was actually a survey done that showed university fundraisers how the money donated by alumni can help financially struggling students graduate from college. Once they did that, once they gave them purpose, guess what happened? Their productivity went up by 400%. 400%. Because now they had a reason for doing what they were doing. So no matter what you are, where you are on your journey of your life, your career, your health goals, give yourself that big purpose. What is it you're trying to do? Okay? Because you're not trying to lose 50 pounds. You're trying to look better, feel better, be better, live longer. That's your purpose. Weight loss is fleeting. Health is for a lifetime. And if you start having those lifetime goals and those things that, where am I going with this? Then it helps you have more motivation intrinsically. This make sense? Internal motivation can actually help a lot of areas of life. And I do hope you apply this. Research has confirmed that the use of external motivators like praise can actually undermine your internal motivation. Not that I think praise is bad. I think praise is just fine. But when it's overly done to compensate for the lack of internal motivation, at some point that external is going to fall apart and the internal has to kick in. But the problem is most people never train themselves to have internal motivation and they rely heavily on external. This is why you know those people that they're, for example, in a relationship. Oh, well, when they're in the relationship, they're really happy and everything's going great. Well, then the relationship breaks up. What happens to that person? They fall into a puddle. They fall apart. And they fall apart because they have become so reliant on the external that they didn't learn how to love themselves internally. And look, I'm on this journey right now trying to find somebody. I don't care who I find. If things don't work out, Jimmy gonna be okay because Jimmy is very at peace and in love with myself enough to know that I don't need someone else to complete me. That's bullshit, by the way. You don't need somebody to complete you. What they do is they maybe add value to who you are. But if they were no longer in your life, you could still go on. And I believe that wholeheartedly about myself. All right. There's one major revelation in the research I've been doing on this that has come out. Intrinsic motivation is a must-have. A must-have if you want to save yourself the drudgery of contemplating the things you should do or don't do. So decisions come into play all the time. Good morning. Decisions come into play all the time where you decide one way or the other. And how you're motivated is going to determine how you decide. And those decisions, look, they're hard. Sometimes they're hard. Decide to quit or not quit, hard. Decide to give up on something that you've put so much energy into, a relationship, a job, a dream, you name it, you guys, a weight loss goal, you name it. You need something internally that's going to keep you going so that when you reach that point where you have to make a decision, you just go. You don't hesitate, you just go because you have certain things that drive you. All right. So, there is this guy named Abraham Maslow. He's a psychologist, and he talks about this thing called growth motivation, okay? And in order for you to have growth motivation, you need to be aware of your hierarchy of various needs. And so I want to go over those here in a second. Good morning. And so the hierarchy of needs are physiological needs. In other words, your physical needs. You need to eat, you need to sleep, you need to, all the things. There's also safety. That's a need. You need to feel safe about the decisions you make. There's also social needs. There's also self-esteem needs. And then finally, self-actualization needs. And he said all of these needs should create an internal pressure that will influence your behavior. So if you're deficient in any one of them, you're going to feel pressure to want to get those needs fulfilled. Now, what does this have to do with our topic today? Well, think about when you're deciding to go or give up on something or keep going with something. If needs are not being met, it may make you decide a certain way that may or may not be the right way, right? So, growth motivation, which is the totality of all of this, is a part of our self-actualization and that desire for self-fulfillment and becoming what you want to become, like we were talking about at the very beginning. And so this gets a little bit in the weeds if you think about it too much, but the bottom line is we all have ways that we can enhance our own intrinsic motivation, okay? And this is the takeaway I want you to have, and I promise I will shut up here in a minute, but this is some good stuff today I wanted to share with you. Please feel free to keep writing your comments. I'll get to you guys here in a minute. But intrinsic motivation, you can do something about it. You can enhance it. You can work on it. And here are some things you can do. You ready? Number one, self-efficacy. You need to believe in your own self, your ability to achieve the goals that you want. You already have everything it takes to do what you need to do. You do. So to build that intrinsic motivation, you've just got to be confident that you have all the tools necessary. You know how many people I consult with business? This is a biggie. Oh, I'm not qualified. Oh, I'm not this, I'm not that. I don't have this, I don't have that. And I always stop them and go, wait. You have everything you need. You don't need anything beyond what's in your heart. If you have a fire in your belly to do something when it comes to a business or getting started with something new, entrepreneurial-wise, you've got it. Because you wouldn't have that drive to want to do that if you didn't already have those things within you. But then self-doubt comes in. Some of our traumas kick in. There's all kinds of things that would make us doubt ourselves. But be very confident in who you are and what you bring to the table. And you can accomplish anything that serves the purpose of your higher goal, of what it is that you want to do. But here's the thing. If you say, well, I can't do it, guess what? Self-fulfilling prophecy kicks in, because if you say you can't do something, guess what ends up happening? You don't do it. And then you say, see, I couldn't do it. No, you couldn't do it because you told yourself you couldn't do it. Our brains listen to the messages we give it. And so if our brains are hearing, oh, you can't do it, why are we surprised that you ultimately can't do it? You see how this works? It's so wicked how we psych ourselves out of things that we very much could do, but we tell ourselves we can't. The second thing you can do to increase your intrinsic motivation is to link your actions to that greater purpose, like we talked about earlier. What is it that's driving you? Look, I want to influence as many people as possible with all the messages that I share, whether it's about diet, about mindset, about putting your body in the ice cold water, about dealing with childhood trauma, all the things that I talk about. The greater purpose is, I know there are hurting people out there. I know there are people who can stand to benefit from the things that I talk about. So my greater purpose is, yes, I'm helping Jimmy, but I want to help everybody else. It's why I get out here and I do my thing all the time. I probably make more content than anybody you know. Good morning, guys. I do more content than anybody you know online, probably. But it's because I'm so motivated with a higher purpose. I don't feel like I was here to just sit on my laurels and do nothing. I think I've been given a voice, the talent to talk, the ability to communicate for good reason. And I use that. And look, I feel like if you have a purpose, why would you ever give up? Why? Why would you give up if you have purpose that drives you? Because that purpose doesn't change. Maybe your execution of how you're trying to fulfill that purpose changes, but your purpose stays the same. You're going to keep going, and you're not going to want to give up. The third one, this might seem a little weird as a way to boost your intrinsic motivation, but go volunteer. I mean, anything. Volunteer at your local food bank, volunteer at your church or community organization that you're a part of. Give of your time, because giving of yourself is very selfless. And selflessness gives you a sense of, hey, I'm doing something not for my own gain, but for the gain of other people. And when you help other people, there's a certain something that happens internally when you do that. I have always been very selfless. I've tried to be anyway. Because I see its value in my life. I've always volunteered for various things, and willingly so. And I think it's one thing that served me well in my life. You remove all of the external rewards and expectations, so you just do for others. That does something for you internally. And of course, giving and volunteering have such rewards in and of themselves beyond that. But the intrinsic motivation boost is big. Number 4, don't wait until you feel like it before you do something. Oh, I just stepped on some toes there. If you wait till you feel like it, you're never going to feel like it. And I get people all the time write to me of, well, I really want to start such and such, but I don't feel I'm ready and I want to wait. Okay, what's going to happen in the waiting period? Well, I'm going to prepare more and I'll be ready. And okay, when? Do you have a plan of action? When's it going to happen? Oh, well, when I feel like it. No, because when you feel like it, it's never going to happen. People do this in the relationships all the time. Well, I'll pursue a relationship when I feel like I'm ready, when I feel like I've gotten to a point where I'm at my very best. Well, guess what? You're never going to be in a relationship. Nope. You're never going to be, quote, fully ready. You just got to go. You got to take a chance. And I'm not just talking relationships, really everything now. Jump at the opportunity. Because you can learn along the way When I started Living La Vida Low Carb, it was October of 2000. April 2005 is when I started the blog. But in October 2006, I made a big decision. Jump. Bet on yourself, Jimmy. Don't wait till you're, quote, ready. Don't wait till you're financially stable to do it. Don't wait till you're this, that. We come up with all these reasons why we hesitate. I decided to go for it. And now looking back on it all these years later, I'm really glad I did, because I'm still going. I'm still doing all the things. And I've accomplished things, guys, that I never in a million years imagined could happen. And I haven't started yet in my eyes. I feel like the work I'm doing now is even more important than the stuff I've done up till now, which has been impactful for a lot of people. So don't wait until you feel like it. People often say things, well, I can't get up early to go to the gym. Or I can't make myself take an action that I don't want to take. Well, guess what? You just told yourself that you don't feel like doing it. Get off your butt! Your feelings don't matter. Sometimes we need like drill sergeants within us to get your maggot ass off the floor and get up, go, 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 go. You know, that kind of thing. Because we do like to mamby-pamby ourselves a little bit. We like to just coddle ourselves. Oh, it's okay if you don't feel like it. Now look, if you're tired, don't go to the gym. You know, I'm not saying across the board, but most people, they're just like, well, it's too early to get up to go to the gym, so I'm not going to go. Well, no, you just don't feel like it, is what it is. You don't have to feel like it. You don't, in order to take an action. So one of the ways you can help with that, by the way, is create routines, get into the habits of things, and then you don't have to say, well, I don't feel like going to the gym. No, it's 5 a.m. That's when I go to the gym. I've got a friend who I'm interviewing on Thursday on my podcast on Instagram Live. Katie is her name, and Katie gets up very early in the morning. I think like 4 a.m. she's up, and she's at the gym every single morning. And you can see it when she goes on her stories. She'll sometimes talk about, you know, guys, I don't feel like it today. But guess what? I don't care. I don't care, because I need to go to the gym. And so she's convinced herself it's such a part of her routine that even when she doesn't feel like it, she does it anyway. There's no give up in that girl, which is why I want to talk to her. How do you have that intrinsic motivation? I'm going to ask her about that on Thursday. Then the last thing, you guys, is self-determination. Self-determination. This is something that's going to keep you going no matter what. And it's what keeps you going when that going gets tough. And when you come to that crossroads where you have that decision of giving up or not giving up, the three main needs help you meet your need for growth. Those are competence, autonomy, and relatedness. And so if all three of those are in play, then you're able to motivate yourself and get going. And all of them are sources of that intrinsic motivation. Think about it. Competence. If you know what you're doing and you know where you're going and you know all the things, you're competent. How are you anything but motivated? Autonomy. You're making the decision. There's nobody else coming into play. It's just you. And if it's just you and you make the final say in whatever choice that you make in life, that's powerful. You're the one. And then relatedness. Is this a part of my core value? Is this who I am as a person? Does this jive with what I want to do? And if all three of those are in place, guess what? That's intrinsic motivation right there. and they can definitely keep you going. So, one other concept that I wanted to bring up was this idea of having a deeper reason, okay? Because I think we all, when we want to give up, the reason we want to give up so easily is we don't have a deeper reason for why we're doing whatever it is we're doing that we're wanting to give up on. What is that deeper reason? Only you can answer that question. Only you know what it is that keeps you going. And that deeper reasoning will keep you on the straight and narrow. When you think all things are falling apart, it's because that deeper reasoning either isn't there or no longer applies. So what is the deeper reasoning for you? What is it that is there? And I know today's walk and talk's very philosophical, very internally thinking about how the inner workings of your brain are. But this is important, guys, because if you're ready to give up on something that is adding great value in your life, it's not something to be taken lightly. I think we need to be very purposeful in why we're doing what we're doing and the what behind it. What is it? What is it serving in our lives? And where are we going with this? If you can't answer those questions, then hopefully today we are stoking your brain to start thinking about it. Maybe for the first time in your life, you never thought about things like this before. What does drive me? What does motivate me? What are those internal core values that I have put off? Maybe you have core values that you've never articulated. Write that shit down. Write it down and live it loud and proud. So that when you reach that point where you need to make a decision to put up or shut up, keep going or give up, you know what to do. Those things will drive you to the right decision. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. I talked a very long time today, but hopefully that helped you today and you were motivated by this. Wow, lots of comments. Let's go all the way back. Melt that snow. Emily says, I love this. We need actionable, specific methods to apply to have success. Yeah. Like, look, I feel like people think success just comes. People just think, oh, I exist and I have good intentions, so therefore all the success will just come automatically. No, it doesn't work that way. Success comes when you are deliberate about the actions you are taking, and specific actions that put you towards a goal, not further away. And the more you do things towards a goal, don't be surprised if eventually you hit a goal and you be successful. Why is this hard? Seems pretty obvious to me. What are my whys, says Emily. Oh, you know my whys. And I articulated them a little bit earlier, but my why is helping people who are hurting, communicating in a way that finally gets through to people who have turned off their brain and their hearts to everybody else. I feel like I'm relatable because I'm not the perfect body in the health world. Not the perfect body, but I still do lots of things for my own, even in the midst of that. Even in the midst of like incredible hate that comes my way, incredible hate, I do it anyway. And I do it because I know there are a lot of people just like me. They need a role model that says, hey, if Jimmy's still going, I can keep going. Because the moment they get to me is the moment I let down thousands, maybe tens of thousands of people who were looking to me to keep them going. And look, I'm also trying to impart some intrinsic motivation onto these people that they don't need me to be their encourager. They're themselves their encourager. I would love nothing more than to hear somebody say, you motivated me at first, but now I'm my own self-motivation because you taught me everything I needed was from within. And it's true. So that's just a few of my whys. That intrinsic motivation will fuel you. Yeah. That's literally the fuel for your body. Mentally. Hello, Parkman. Hashtag backed by science. Yes. I do try to bring in research when it's applicable. Emily likes my do reference. So you do. As long as you don't pee. Bulletproof. We need motivations to live. Without these motivations and goals, there is no point to living life. Yeah, I mean, I know people that go through their whole lives just existing. I'm sorry, I'm not an existing kind of guy. I'm a thriving, shake up the world, what can I do to change somebody's life kind of guy. And so my motivations get me there, make me want to take that path. And if you don't have that kind of attitude about life and you're just going through the motions, rethink your life choices, because it's going to serve you better if something drives you. And if nothing else, for your family, for yourself. I think we ignore so many parts of ourselves because we don't value ourselves. So then when it comes time to making a choice to keep going or give up, we give up because you have nothing at that point in your life that's driving you. Emily says, I am loving, energized, connected, encouraging, and articulate. I would concur, having talked to you many times now. And yes, you're an encourager. Thank you. I do try to be an encourager. Dayala says, yes, thank you. Kathy says, so good. Thanks for watching today. Appreciate that. Patricia says, my motivation is to heal my body from the cancer treatments. That's a big motivation. And I admire you, Patricia, because I think people that have to go through such a grueling experience, yes, it's a necessary evil, sadly. But then they don't really tell you when you're done with those treatments how you live life now and how you overcome the impact of the treatment. So hang in there. You are a strong warrior. If nobody else has told you that today, I'm telling you that. And I want you to tell yourself that. You're a badass who has overcome incredible obstacles in life. And it's only going to be great things from here on out. Live out your purpose in life. You will. Emily says, I love that it's research-based. It reminds me of Joey Dweck's work. Yes. There's a lot of people in that space that do good research. Bulletproof, you can't be dependent on external motivation since those are not permanent. No, they are not permanent. And just as quickly as they motivate you, they can just as quickly demotivate you. And that's the difference with internal is if you're driven internally, there's no changing sides on that internal. If it's intrinsic, if it's within you, the only person that determines that is you. And so unlike people giving you external motivation, they can walk away. But internal will never walk away. Not as long as you keep believing in yourself. I have a strong intrinsic motivation within Jimmy. If I did not, then I would have probably quit and given up a long time ago. Long time ago. Which is why it's funny when I post things about people writing ugly things to me. People are always worried, oh, don't go away. I'm like, why would I go away? If they were going to scare me away, it would have happened a long time ago. I share those things to show other people, look, this is the kind of crap I deal with. I'm still here, bitches. Yep, still here, unapologetically. Try to shut me up. Because as long as I have a voice, as long as I have thoughts to share, I ain't going anywhere. Have no reason to. I got too much purpose in this world. Whether people want to believe that or not, I do. Nurkavina says, I never think in how I describe myself. I have to work on that. Look, it's not uncommon when you're asked, hey, how would you describe who you are and your core values? It's not uncommon for people to not know because we're not taught to care about that kind of thing. We're not really taught to have internal values. And I grew up in an abusive household. I was taught my values didn't matter. My voice wasn't desired to be heard. And then any beliefs and things that I had needed to match an external voice. And it took going into adulthood to find my own voice and define who I really am apart from that. And that's hard. I don't know your specific situation, but I would assume the reason you struggle is you've never had an environment that cultivated that encouraged you to find your own voice. But once you do, don't you dare stop. Don't you dare stop sharing from it and be proud of who you are. Once you figure it out, be proud of who you are. Even if it goes against the norms of what other people want you to be proud of who you are. Nobody else gets a say in that. You are the only one that gets a say in who you are. It's true. Sorry, this guy just stopped his car looking at his phone. So I was trying to go behind him and he never moved. Can't fix stupid. Jimmy's going all philosophical today. Yes, Bulletproof. I sure did. On purpose. I think if you get philosophically things down in your life, it makes the practicality of lots of other parts of your life just make sense. It does. I got a lot of these kind of ideas, but I don't go super philosophical all the time. My jam is much more practical, but sometimes philosophical lays the foundation for that practical, so I'm okay going there. Self-confidence is very important. Yes, it is. So is self-awareness. So many are victims of their own minds. We create in our minds narratives that have not and will not ever be true. And I hate that. But we do. Which is a part of this process of going intrinsically and figuring out who you are internally is you avoid that self-doubt. It's hard to doubt yourself when you know who you are at your very core and then you stick to those core beliefs. It's hard to mess that up. Which is why this is so foundational for all of life. No matter what you're doing in your life, going on a diet, starting a fitness routine, overcoming your childhood trauma, getting into an ice bath, all these things apply. What are those things that drive you? What are those things that make you who you are? You figure that out, watch your life fall into place. It did for me. Kira says, I like to add the word yet after saying I can't do it for Jim. But if it's writing a book, starting a podcast, I never add yet. Don't know why. I do like the idea of yet. My podcast co-host, Brittany, and I, we actually talked about that on an episode like a month or so ago, that when you're questioning things, if you add the word yet, it means it's still in progress. It's still gonna happen someday. And yes, it could definitely be yet with a book and a podcast, Kira. I will give you that one for sure. Good morning. You give to yourself when you give back. Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. Every time I have volunteered or given of my time, I don't see it as a waste. I see it as an investment in that other person. But then like the fulfillment of knowing that I was able to help someone. And then, yeah, I think there are little things that happen because of that, because of your sacrifice, that you get rewarded too. Now, that's not why I do it, but it is a nice little perk that I have seen for many, many years. Many people say, I'll be happy when so-and-so happens, or I'll be happy when I lose weight. They do. And I'm always like, why ain't you happy now? Why do you have to wait for some end result that's arbitrary? Keep in mind, it's arbitrary, these end results. Why you got to wait on that? What is magical about when you lose weight? Then you're happy? That's another external motivation. Internal motivation says, bitch, I'm happy now while I'm losing weight. That's intrinsic. Wanting to lose weight or waiting for so-and-so to happen, that's all external. No, thank you. I do not need things in my life to fall into place for me to be happy and fulfilled. I'm happy and fulfilled now. Anything that happens externally is just gravy. It's just bonus. It's the extra ribeye on my plate. That's all it is. I won't hate an extra ribeye on my plate, mind you, but I'm just satisfied eating a ribeye. If I get an extra one, I'm not gonna turn it down. Never, never. Please save this. I will post this on the SB Gang. So powerful. Thank you. Yes, I post this on Instagram, on YouTube, and then I post the link from YouTube over on Facebook. So yes, it will be saved, my dear. Thank you for that, by the way. Glad to see you're getting value out of this today. Emily says, Drill Sergeant Jimmy is super funny. Let's go, get out your feet, maggot. Oh, get up now, go. I saw too many movies in the 1980s about Vietnam War, like Full Metal Jacket and some of those kind of movies. Yes. People will make time for what's important truly to them, and people will make excuses for what's not. Always. And look, I'm starting to notice it more and more when I hear people having disappointment in their life. Oh, well, I guess that's that. I'm like, no, you can be disappointed about stuff. That's that. In fact, I caught Brittany on that today on something she said. I said, no, you're allowed to feel bad. and you are. But you'll make the time when it's something you truly want. You will make the time. And if you don't make the time, you probably don't truly want it. You'll make an excuse for it. What's the why that makes you cry? Yes, Cherish. What's the why that makes you cry? And not want to die. Me, oh my. Yes, I'm Dr. Seuss at heart. You are amazing, beautiful example of fierceness. Thank you. Appreciate that, Emily. Want successful graduates who motivate themselves. Look, I think we all need to be our own self-motivation. People ask me how I've been able to be such a strong presence online for so long, coming up on 2 decades here in the next couple of years. And I think it's because my purpose has never changed. Educate, encourage, and inspire people. That's it. That's it. No matter what I'm talking about. Those 3 things have always been what I'm about from day one. And so why am I still here? I'm still here because I'm still about educating, encouraging, and inspiring. Yes, it started out as health and weight loss and diet, but it's morphed into something even greater. And look, who knows what it's going to be like 10 years from now when I'm still out here. Or screw that, 25 years from now, welcome back to the Living La Vida Low Carb Show with Jimmy Moore, and today, episode 5943. Yes, as much as my haters hate to hear this, I ain't going anywhere. I'm still here. Now I have Shake It Up by the Cars stuck in my head. Says Cherish, yes, shake it up. Ooh, ooh, shake it up. All of us 80s kids, Gen Xers, are showing our age today. Gabby says, thank you, you're a beautiful human. Thank you. I just try to be who I want to be around. I think if we all acted the way we wanted other people to act around us, how cool would the world be? Because I think some of these people that act erratically in their behavior, they don't want to meet people like themselves. So we should all be the kind of people we want to have in our lives. So thank you. That's very sweet. Isn't he lovely? Isn't he wonderful? Says Emily. You guys got me singing 80s hits now. Anybody else want to throw in an 80s song? I'll just sing it spontaneously. Bulletproof says, philosophical clarity is your book down the road. Hey, look, I have a lot of things about life that I think I could write a book about. Especially with the things I've been through. Some things I talk about, some things I can't talk about. But it's taught me a lot of lessons in life, which is why I love these walk and talks, because I'm able to just freely speak to you guys about these kind of things. And it's nice. It's a nice outlet for me. See, I'm more than just about keto. Everybody's like, stay in your lane of keto. I'm like, you don't know the half of Jimmy if you think I'm only about keto. Keto is a part of my life, but it's not the totality of who I am. There is so much more to Jimmy Moore than you even know. And you guys haven't even seen all of it yet. Stick around for the next 25 years so I get to episode 5947. One of these days. You gave me goosebumps. I grow up without any encouragement, but I still have time to learn to describe myself. Yes. Look, I know how this plays out. I've seen it in people. I've seen people go their whole lives and they never had one person say something positive to or about them. And that's a shame. I feel like if I serve no good purpose other than this is all I need to do. I'm an encourager, and I'm always going to encourage people, and I'm always going to be that voice that uplifts people. I randomly go on people's Instagram posts all the time, and I'm writing encouraging messages, especially when they post something where they're kind of down. I always post encouragement, and invariably they're just like, thank you, I needed that, and I need to hear that. And it's like, damn, is encouraging that rare? Is encouraging that hard? To me, it's words, but it's power. We can all be better at that. Let's do that today. Let's all bound together in a pact. I'll do a pinky swear. Let's go. Pinky swear, guys. Put your pinky up. Pinky swear that we're going to be better about encouraging each other and giving people that lift when they need a lift. It doesn't take a lot of time. I spend about 30 seconds writing 3 lines on somebody to encourage them. It's not hard. It doesn't cost you a thing. But look at what it means to that other person. It means everything. Mary says, it always makes me smile when you tag me in these posts, because earlier this week I was really questioning if I had value in the space. Then you tagged me and Kelly tagged me and I had my answer. Yes. Look, I feel like we need to rally around each other. And I know you guys that are here all the time on my walk and talks. I am grateful for all of you, by the way. And if I remember you or you've interacted with me outside of these walk and talks, then I do try to tag you when I'm doing a walk and talk and I've got an upcoming message to share. Because I feel like, especially in the world right now, we just have such a weird vibe going on. And when the world is weird, you need something that kind of like stabilizes you and reminds you of who you are. You don't get too much in your own head. Trust me, even I have those moments. So this isn't something that I'm immune to. But I realize people need a bit of positivity, a bit of encouragement that they're just not getting out there. And in fact, it's been the opposite. It's been the exact opposite. I think everything that's happened mostly the last 2 years has been incredibly discouraging. It's been fatalistic. It's got people on edge. And I want to take the edge off of that, because I don't think we're meant to stay in that state indefinitely. So let Jimmy be your respite from all the nonsense that's happening out there. How did you know I was watching you while eating a ribeye? Hey, I would be eating a ribeye. No. Yes, ribeyes are amazing. If they didn't cost $9,000 a pound now, so. JT said, nah, you're going to be loud 25 years from now. Yes. Yes. I am excited. I have no signs of slowing down, guys. Literally none. Got too much life to live. Too much purpose in my life to give up. It's not going to happen. Not for Jimmy Moore. Yes, we're all going to be lit in our 80s. That's funny. Here is Ice Bath Day 10,000, and that's what Bulletproof wrote. Yes. 10,000. Wow, that's 3 years. Yeah. Won't be quite 75 yet, but I get the joke. It's funny. I'm brand new to your world and I'm loving it. Says don't go back to sleep. I needed all these words today. Thank you and welcome. I like to diversify the things I talk about. Yes, I'm the low-carb keto guy. I've been out here a million years talking about those things. But I talk about lots more than that. My followers get it. You guys get it. You know what I'm about. You don't peg me as just keto. Although, you know, if you have a question about keto, I got you. Cholesterol, got you. Fasting, I got you. Childhood trauma, I got you. But so much more. Ice baths, I got you. I'm a very diversified guy. And I try to share all of that with you guys. Coming to the end of my walk, you guys. Gen X in the house, says Cherish. Yes. Best generation ever. Uh-oh. Emily's taking me up on my sing challenge. 6'4" and full of muscles. Laying down under. May says the trick is not to be obsessed with what a new regime, diet, healthy living is. Right? Don't obsess about it. Don't make it your identity. That definitely helps. Faux shizzle, as they say. How do you release yourself from the narrative? When I lose weight, I'll be happy, free, ready to be a mom. You lose yourself from that narrative by realizing, number one, that it's a bald-faced lie. That right now, you are happy. Right now, you are free. Right now, you're ready to be a mom. There's no losing to do. You are those things already. So there's no predication on having to lose weight for those things to become true. They're true now. You just have to believe it. I realize that's hard. I realize we put up these obstacles. But when you get to that point where you realize you are enough right where you are, while you're in the midst of working on yourself, you're off to the races. And then watch what happens. That weight loss that you desire might become easier. It might become more likely to happen than not, because you're putting so much pressure on yourself. When I lose weight, then all these things will happen. And I'm thinking, reverse it. When all these things happen, guess what? I'm in a good headspace. I'm good emotionally. I'm confident AF. I'm gonna lose weight. And there it is. Done and done. Got a lot of pinky swears. Good job, guys. Cherish says, show your skills. Hit us with some rapper's delight. I'm still very white. I can do slow rap. I could never do like Rap God by Eminem. No. I can do MC Hammer, Run DMC. Positive self-talk. Always you are keto. You've known me long enough. Talk to yourself in the way that you would want to be talked to. I'm always having to remind people of that. Always having to tell them, don't talk to yourself in any other way except for how you would want other people to talk to you. Game changer. You get to that point, you're not going to let people influence you externally. So why would you talk to yourself in a way that you would never allow somebody externally to talk to you? But we do it all the time, don't we? We do it all the time. All right, guys, I'm at the end of my walk here, about to walk back into my neighborhood again. But thanks for joining me on this walk and talk. Great subject here today, what to do when you want to just give up. Hopefully now you realize there are reasons why you want to give up. They have a lot to do with your core values, your internal messages and motivations of what drives you. You need to build that. So if you missed any part of this, go back and watch it up on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Go watch the replay and rewatch it if you need to be reminded of some things from time to time, because it's going to serve you well in all parts of your life. This is not just a diet thing. This is not just a relationship thing. This is not just a career thing. This is an across the board, every part of your life where you have ever felt like giving up on something. This is going to apply. If it's worth it, let me work on it. I put my thing down, flip it, and reverse it. I have that song playing in my head now. Yes. Wonderful live. Thank you. Thank you, Emily. Great walk and talk, says Cherish. Thank you. Mary says, thanks for the chat. Enjoy the beautiful day. It is gorgeous out here. I've got some work I need to get done, but I'm definitely enjoying basking in the sun and the fresh air. It's not real hot. It's definitely in the 60s, but not real hot yet. Bye, everyone. Thanks so much for being here. As always, we do this walk and talk once a week, typically on Sundays at 11 a.m. Eastern here on Instagram Live. So if you're watching anywhere but on Instagram, go follow me at Living Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMEN, and you can join in on the fun. Nice interaction today, you guys. Appreciate that. Thanks for the reminder. Says you are Carnivore. You're welcome. You have a favor for a friend. Yes, Emily. Always. All right, guys, let me get out of here. I got to cool off. I need some electrolytes. I'm thirsty now. But loved hanging out with you. I will see you back here in about 5 hours for my ice bath video. So until then, I'll see you then. Bye, guys.